Through Inland Waters, Champlain Canal at 200 was a juried art exhibition sponsored by the Folklife Center at Crandall Public Library in Glens Falls, New York. The show ran from April 3rd to April 28, 2003, in the library's second-floor Friends Gallery. Featured were 50 artworks by 34 local artists. 1/3 of the works were photography, another quarter were oil paintings, while the remainder were watercolor, acrylic, pastel, pen and ink, pencil, and textiles. Celebrating the 200th anniversary of the opening of the Champlain Canal, artwork was representative of and inspired by the canal from Waterford to Whitehall, as well as the Glens Falls feeder and the Hudson River itself. Susan Meyer, a Saratoga County photographer, talks with us about her mindful process and the serendipitous events that led to the photos she submitted to the exhibition.
That was Lock 6.
Yeah.
So I spent an entire year photographing every sunrise from the same little platform. And it was Balloon Festival weekend. And so I really, really wanted to go and photograph balloons. Then we went and we didn't really have any luck photographing the balloons because I really didn't know where to go to. And so we decided to go on the river. And I was feeling kind of disappointed because I really did want to see balloons and they tend not to come our way. But I brought my big wildlife lens with me in my kayak. Then when we got up pretty close to the lock, all of a sudden there's all these balloons. Oh my gosh, we're in the right place at the right time. If I went trying to chase the balloons, if we were trying to see that launch, we probably wouldn't have had any luck again, but where we were was perfect. It was a moment.
Glens Falls fiber artist Joy Muller-McCullough discusses her wet felt process in replicating a log boom chain out of locally sourced wool.
I grew up at the other end of the Hudson River, down in New York City area, and water has always been important to me, and I love how the Hudson connects this part of my life with my past. I'm on the Hudson a lot, on the feeder canal a lot, kayaking, going by the booms, and you can see remnants of the logging that happened on the river and in the canal. And it was fun to layer the colors and figure out, oh, I want it to have that rusty or muddy look that the photograph did that we found. So the fibers creep into each other to form a cloth, and the cuticle locks down, gets tighter and tighter. So everything shrinks between 30 and 50% that I do. What we talked about for a long time here in the Folklife Center was what did the ends look like and how did that come together? And I didn't know, so we had to find images of that.
Pastel artist Joanne Quinlivan tells us about pastels and painting the 5 combines and the coal silo along the feeder canal near her home in Hudson Falls.
Down to the little waterfall there, at the end. Yeah, where the combines are. And I said to my husband, wow, I really should, and plus the coal bins are like 3 blocks away from me. I said, I really need to do that. And I walked to it and I set up my stuff and I did part of it plein air. And then I took pictures and I couldn't sit there that long. And then I went home and finished it. In the water, how much I love waterfalls and the combine. So I did the same thing. I didn't sit there though, but I went over and took lots of pictures. So actually I painted for the show. Because I'd had, and sometimes that's, sometimes you procrastinate. I want to do that, and you never do. And then something like that comes up and you said, oh, I'm going to do it, finally, I'm going to do it. And so I did both of them, and I was happy with the results, and I entered them.
Washington County oil painter Ann Sutherland discusses her love of color and the techniques that breathe life into her painting of lock repair at Fort Miller.
And when I saw the construction, I loved it, the orange yellow. It really spoke to me, and then it spoke to me about something that someone who was painting the lock would probably not do. It was an unusual take on the scene. Actually, the color of the water in the canal is different than the color of the water on the river. So again, I like unusual takes on things, and I thought, wow, that will be really interesting because it's sort of a brownish color if you look at the photo. And then the reflections and all of that appealed to me. So it was really about bringing the viewer attention to the different colors in the water in the canal.